In 1954, 236 human beings became living test subjects without their knowledge or consent. Their story remained buried for decades. On March 1, 1954, the United States detonated Castle Bravo, their largest nuclear weapon ever tested. But what happened next was far more sinister than just a weapons test. Hidden beneath layers of classified documents lay Project 4.1, a secret medical study that would haunt the Marshall Islands for generations. The bomb's yield was 15 megatons, 3 times more powerful than expected. A massive radioactive cloud drifted over the inhabited Rongelap and Uterik atolls. The military knew these islands were populated, they knew the wind direction, yet they did nothing to evacuate the residents. Instead, they saw an opportunity. These islanders became perfect test subjects for studying the effects of radiation on humans. The US government branded Project 4.1 as a humanitarian medical program to help radiation victims. The reality was much darker. For 3 days, the Marshallese were left to consume contaminated food and water. Children played in the radioactive ash, thinking it was snow. Their skin burned, their hair fell out. They became violently ill, but no evacuation was ordered until it was too late. The studying began immediately. Military doctors descended upon the islands, taking blood samples, photographing burns, and documenting symptoms. The islanders weren't told they were part of an experiment. They weren't informed about the risks. They were simply told the doctors were there to help. The results were catastrophic. Within years, many developed thyroid tumors. Women experienced horrific miscarriages and gave birth to severely deformed babies. Some described as jellyfish babies that lived only a few hours. Cancer rates skyrocketed, but instead of proper medical care, they received only periodic examinations. Declassified documents revealed the true nature of Project 4.1. It was planned before the bomb was even detonated. One memo stated, "The habitation of these people on the island will afford most valuable ecological radiation data on human beings." The US military controlled all information about the islanders' condition. When independent doctors tried to examine the victims, they were denied access. The government claimed the islanders' health problems were due to their diet and lifestyle, not radiation exposure. 3 years later, the US declared the islands safe and moved the people back. They weren't. The soil, water, and food remained highly radioactive. The suffering continued, but now under the guise of resettlement. The truth started emerging in the 1970s, when declassified documents exposed Project 4.1's real purpose. The Marshallese had been used as human guinea pigs in a calculated experiment to understand radiation's effects on populations. Even more disturbing was the discovery that pregnant women were specifically tracked to study how radiation affected unborn children. Medical staff were instructed to document but not treat certain conditions to observe their progression. The US government eventually acknowledged some responsibility in 1986, establishing a $150 million compensation trust fund. But for many survivors, it was too little, too late. The damage was generational, affecting not just those present during the tests, but their children and grandchildren. Today, the Marshall Islands continue to grapple with elevated cancer rates and environmental contamination. The nuclear dome containing radioactive waste is cracking, threatening to leak into the Pacific Ocean. Project 4.1 might have ended, but its devastating legacy lives on. Perhaps most chilling is how this experiment remained hidden for so long.